The Galaxy Fold was one of the best phones that I wasn't able to test out. So when the Z Flip was announced, I managed to get one as quick as possible. And I did like it. I spent ample amounts of time with it. But by the end of my time with the Z Flip, I still walked away with the feeling of foldables are very first generational. They need more refinement. And now Samsung's launched the Z Fold 2. And I've got my hands on it, and this video is gonna chronicle my first 72 hours with this phone. What's my take on it? Do I still feel this is too first generational? What is it that Samsung has to offer here? So without further ado, hey guys, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech, and if you do end up liking what you see in this video, please subscribe and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Let's now get started. Now Samsung's taken some of the best bits of the Fold and combined it with some of the best bits of the Z Flip, and they've come up with, well, I'm not a fan of the elongated name. It's the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2 5G, but I am a fan of what Samsung's put together here. Pick up the Fold, and the first thing you notice is, this folding experience, it kind of feels very satisfactory. It feels magical in a certain way. This experience isn't something you'd get with any other phone. Now let me walk you through the experience of, experiencing the Z Fold 2. Once folded, this phone gets really wieldable. It's very single-hand usage friendly. And that's because it's a narrower form factor than say something like the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra or any other regular phone with like a 6.5 inch display. The reason behind this is that the front panel, it's a 25:9 panel. We don't see a lot of that usually. And because it's this narrow, elongated panel, it's very easy to hold single-handed. But then there is a con. Because this is elongated, reaching the top corners of this display, that's a pain. And because of this aspect ratio, when you switch to the landscape mode, the icons, they get cut off a little bit. It actually looks weird. I get it, with the new aspect ratio, that's what Samsung could have done. I'm not holding it against them, but it still looks weird, and I think it's worth a mention. Apart from these, the software experience here, it's really good. This is One UI on top of Android 10. All our favorite features return. And in fact, since this is a unique form factor, there are a few new ones that are added as well. For example, you can run apps in the tablet mode. You can have multiple apps open at once. While not the first brand to do it, Samsung was one of the first to implement multi-window, and that's gotten popular enough that Google now has it included in base Android. So maybe this becomes stock with base Android somewhere in the future for foldables. I don't know, but as of now, we can have 3 windows open at once, or rather 3 panes here. And on top of it, you can also have something pop up. So there's a lot of room for multitasking. The implementation is actually very good. It's not just that, you can also save this combination. So if you want to quickly open a couple of apps that you very commonly use together, then you can just go to the Edge panel and open your pre-saved combination. So for example, let's say you use YouTube and WhatsApp a lot. So then you can have them saved as a combination so that every time you tap this, YouTube and WhatsApp open up at the same time. So you can go ahead, watch your videos, get your video fix, get your C4E Tech fix, go ahead, subscribe if you haven't yet. And at the same time, stay in touch with your friends, and you can share and tell them to watch more C4E Tech videos on WhatsApp. Hey, I got asked, right? Regular Samsung nice to have like stereo speakers, NFC, wireless charging, Samsung Pay, they're all present and accounted for. But there are a few noticeable omissions as well. For example, there's no headphone jack. There is no support for microSD, and forget microSD, you can't use 2 physical SIM cards either. One has to be eSIM, and that at times is a pain. And there is no IP rating either, neither for dust nor water resistance. Now, one area where Samsung is absolutely not compromised is with the internals. We've got the flagship Snapdragon 865 Plus chip. Here, even in India, no Exynos variants, so hey, that's great. Now, I'm not someone who craps on Exynos for absolutely no reason. Go back a couple of generations and Exynos was actually doing a little better than its Qualcomm counterpart. For example, features like 4K 120 FPS was supported on the Exynos chip, but it was disabled so that we could maintain parity amongst the Exynos and Qualcomm variants. In the last couple of years, Exynos has been lagging behind. Now don't get me wrong, the Exynos 990 or even the 9820, they are excellent powerful chips. But if for a regular flagship, something that's not unique, something that's not out of the ordinary, like say a Fold or a Flip, for a regular flagship, right now we broke the 1 lakh barrier with the Note 20 Ultra. If we are expected to pay over 1 lakh, then every single bit of performance does count. Because hey, we are asked to pay the max, then we expect the max in turn, and that's only fair, right? So that is where the Exynos version comes in as a little bit of a pain point for consumers. That's not the case here at all. Samsung still offers 865 all over the world for this phone, so that's great. We then have 12 gigs of DDR5 RAM and super fast UFS 3.1 storage, 128 or 256 gigs. So the overall performance here is very snappy. This is the snappiest I've seen One UI perform. Now, if you're just using it with the phone closed, then it's just another regular AMOLED panel. Okay, not so regular AMOLED panel, a weird 25:9 aspect ratio AMOLED panel. It's punchy, it's got all the regular makings of an AMOLED panel, a traditional Samsung AMOLED panel. But then you open it up, and then you have the 2K resolution, the 120Hz refresh rate. The 865 Plus backs up all these requirements very beautifully. And so the tablet mode is just so much of a pleasure to use. Of course, the crease is still present, but you stop noticing it soon enough. And unlike with the Z Flip, this isn't bang in the center where you touch to swipe. So you don't even feel it most times while swiping. Now, I do spend a couple of hours each night reading comics on Marvel Unlimited. And even then, even with the brightness low, or if I'm somewhere outside with background lighting being bright and my brightness is on full, neither time did I end up noticing the crease. It kind of fades in. It's kind of like a notch or a punch hole. As you keep using it, it just kind of fades into the background. And by the way, with something like Marvel Unlimited, on the Fold 2, you get to go page by page instead of panel by panel. And I really love that. While we are talking display, it's not perfect. It does have flaws. It's got ultra thin glass, but it's covered by a layer of plastic and a pre-applied screen protector. Samsung says we can manually replace the screen protector, but they recommend leaving it to the professionals, taking it back to Samsung if you want to swap screen protectors. Now, I don't know how much you're gonna have to read into this, but how I see it is this is a phone you're gonna have to baby around a lot. You've got to be super careful with it, more so than any other flagship phone you could actually be using. Unlike certain reports I read, I personally had no issues switching between the front panel 60Hz and the tablet 120Hz. It did not feel jarring to me, but instead I was pretty peeved. I am pretty peeved by something else. So guys, the Galaxy Fold, it came with wireless earphones as well as a case. Now with the Z Flip, we lost the earphones, we still had the case. Now with the Z Fold 2, we've lost both the case as well as the wireless earphones. Now, this kind of nickel and diming I expected from Apple. For example, I recently broke the tip of my Apple Pencil 2. And guess what? There was no replacement in the box, so I had to buy it separately. Now, the Pencil 2 is something that I already bought separately. And the kicker, Apple Pencil 1, it ships with a replacement tip. So talking about replacement tips, if you go back a few years, Samsung used to add a lot of replacement tips for their S Pen with the Note phones. But as of last year, with the Galaxy Tab S6, there were just 2 replacement tips. And now with the Note 20 Ultra and the Tab S7, there are 0 replacement tips. So Samsung's been going more the Apple route. So I'm not going to be surprised if next year their phones do not ship with a charger. Any which ways, rant over. At least for now, this one, it comes with a 25-watt charger in the box. It also has support for fast wireless charging, and the battery, it's 4500 mAh dual cell. So the battery life is going to be interesting to test out. Now the only area we are yet to touch is optics. And the Z Fold 2 comes with 5 cameras. We've got a selfie camera here on the front display, and then we've got one when we are in tablet mode. These are both identical 10 megapixel f2.2 options, but you can leave the Fold open and shoot selfies with your rear cameras if you wanna. And this rear camera setup, it's quite similar to what we've seen from Samsung in the past. Triple 12 megapixel sensors, 2 of them optically stabilized. The color reproduction, detail levels, they all seem very familiar. And that's probably because this array is straight out of the S20 Plus. The back though has more in common with the Note 20 Ultra. It's that matte glass finish, and the grip on this one, it's something I really appreciate. So the Z Fold 2, it is not a cheap phone. It's priced at 1.5 lakhs, so it is quite an investment, but a solid one at that. This time around, Samsung seems to have put together a more polished and more refined phone that I'm going to continue testing, and I'll have more to say about it in detail in my full review that should drop pretty soon. So in case you're not subscribed yet, go ahead, do that. And whatever you felt about this video, what your feelings are based on that, go ahead, give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you have any constructive criticism, any feedback for me, leave a comment down below. And I guess that's it. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.